What up, everyone? It's your man Xman87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video. And what I have for you today is the Marvel Legends 85 Years Celebration Series, Heroes for Hire, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage 2-pack review. Before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like, rating on the video. It'll help show your support for my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Now, with that said, let's go! Oh man, I'm gonna have to stop myself from gushing over this figure because this Iron Fist is freaking awesome. Look at the head sculpt. It looks great. That bandana mask, and you get the black over the white pupils. It looks great. And the expression too, not just on the mask, but the mouth area. And you get some wrinkles on the bandana as well. And it leads all the way to the knots of the bandana tails. And if you look at the top, you can see, yeah, nice flow to it. And the awesome thing about these bandana tails is that they're articulate. So you can move them around, and if you want to play with some dynamic poses, you know, it's not restricted to just this one spot. So I love that. Great for multiple display purposes. And then on the back, underneath the bandana, you can see the hair sculpt underneath. So yeah, oh man, they just nailed it with this head sculpt. And for the rest of the body, we got some new additions here. So he does have the Renew Your Vow limbs, but the diaphragm is an all new sculpt. So as you can see, the collar here flows all the way down and it's sculpted. So there is a seam and the seam work continues down. As you can see, the seams are sculpted right there. They're not painted. That is awesome, and it keeps up with the aesthetic. So it is not a retool of the Renew Your Vows, because when you compare the two, it's just a different looking torso. And I like the way this looks. The chest definitely sticks out more, as you can see. And then another difference right there, they sculpted the belly button, as you can see. They did not sculpt the belly button right there. Again, it's a new diaphragm joint, so it looks really nice the way they sculpted this. I'm just happy they kept up with the aesthetics here and not be lazy and just paint the lines through. That's actually sculpted right there, so I appreciate that a ton. And we get a new sash piece too. Unlike the others, this doesn't wiggle around or shift around. It's actually keyed in to the waist right here, so it's hard to see, but yeah, I can see like a peg that's plugged through the hip right there. So again, this is a all new torso. I like that they're actually keying in like the straps like we seen on the X-Men bodies, and doing this for like the sash. Keep it up. I like that because I don't want a lot of pieces and add-on layers to wiggle around and come off, and that's just annoying, you know what I mean? I like it when it's easy to handle. The most you'll do or get is this, like you can shift it upwards like so. So that's not bad. And if you want to shift it downward, you can do that. But yeah, it's not gonna move around all over the place. And just like the sash, this collar piece is keyed in. So I like the costume they went with. They went with the more modern Iron Fist of the 2020s, but I like that design because it still reminds me of the classic one. I still want a classic Iron Fist because he has more of the V shape on his upper body design. So it's more of a V cut. This is just straight down, but it just reminds me so much of the classic. I love this suit. I really do. Then the dragon tattoo on the chest looks so clean. I love that. The paint is solid all around. You got the 3/4 sleeve ends right there. And you got his fists. Well, of course, you got to have fists for Iron Fist. I mean, the day that Marvel Legends doesn't include fist for Iron Fist is the day I officially quit collecting the line. And the rest, like I said, Renew Your Vows, legs, and the pants end right there at the calf cut. Perfect end point for it. And then his shoes, he's got his little, like, flats there. Only thing I wished is that they sculpted the line instead of painting it, because then it just looks like socks. So I kind of wish they sculpted this bit, but other than that, not too bad. I love it. Now for accessories, he comes with a yelling alternate head, which is great for action poses, and I kind of like how the eyes are squinting a bit. It's a great head sculpt. And the bandana tails are a different sculpt than the default head. But just like the default head, you can articulate it. So that is awesome. I love that. More of this, please, for any character who has a sash. Then we get those same flame effects they have beaten us to death with over and over again. And I think this is the only L this figure takes, because for an annual program line, I wanted to see something new. You know, why didn't they pay homage to Doibis and try to do like a trailblazing effect with or from their Iron Fist figure that they did back in the day? That would have been great to see. I tried to use the Street Fighter Fei Long flame effect for like a fully charged up Chi punch, but yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Then they gave him the Shang-Chi treatment with a bunch of hands. So first we got the chopping hands. Then we get a set of 2 gripping hands and 2 action stylized hands. So all in total, we get 8 interchangeable hands. Now for articulation, his head is on a ball joint. He looks that far up. Good amount. Down, left, right. He does have a nice pivot and it rocks around. Oh, by the way, since it's a new torso from Renew Your Vows, you can see he does not have a gap on the back of the neck. So I like that. That makes me happy. Just wanted to show you. His arms move outward and up about that far. So slightly higher than a straight T pose. They move down. Good butterfly joints too. I want to say they move further back than the Renew Your Vows body, because he gets a lot of range here, man. So if I was to compare the two, you can see, yeah, almost probably better. The only thing that bothers me about the butterfly joints is that when you move them back, the peg is visible, and that should never be visible, man. Like, what the hell? You see that? Damn, that is not a good look. So, like, even if I try to hide it, you can still see it. And I always say you should never see the pegs visible on figures. Continuing with the rest of the arm articulation, they rotate around. You got the bicep swivel, double jointed pinless arms, wrist swivel, and a wrist hinge. You have the double diaphragm joint, which I feel has a slight bit more range than the Renew Your Vows, because, and I'll show you this for a comparison, I'm going to crunch them all the way down and bring in Spider-Man. As you can see, yeah, he does get more range. All right, that's cool. Improved double diaphragm joint. Love to see it. Diaphragm joint gets a lot of range moving back, and interestingly enough, I thought I'd notate this, but the flesh tone right here is a separate piece. Interesting. And you can swivel his torso. It pivots nicely. Does probably get more pivot than Spidey, right? Yeah, I would say so. I think so. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. No, it's still good. So you can rock that around, and then he's got the legs that you can. Oh, I wish he could get a full split, man. I wish he could get a full split. That's one bummer about the articulation here. He does have the drop down legs. You know, his legs kick up real high, kick that far back, so you could get that frontward split. Legs rock around. You got the thigh swivel, double jointed knees, no heel to the Iron Fist butt, and then you got the calf swivel. Ankles move up, down, and they rock all around with a toe joint. Let's take a look at this Luke Cage, and it is quite impressive. I really like how realistic these portraits are on these head sculpts, man. They are knocking it out of the park. I love the expression here. It looks stern. He looks rugged and mean. I like the sculpt on the goatee too. Came out nice. Although I am missing a chunk of paint right there on the side, so that sucks. On this side, not so much, although I'm still missing a chunk there too. Not as bad, but it makes it look like he has an uneven goatee, so I'm gonna have to try to fill that out. You know what? This head sculpt reminds me of the first Hasbro Marvel Legends Luke Cage. I think this was the first Hasbro Luke Cage figure. And it looks like the same dude. Now, bear with me. If I was to talk in video game terms, it just looks like they remastered this dude. So, PS1 graphics, PS5 graphics. Oh my, how far Marvel Legends have come. Yeah, look at that. 2013 Marvel Legends and 2024 Marvel Legends. Insane. Yeah, all around, it is a really good head sculpt. And then we get to this body right here. All new sculpt. So we get a very muscular civilian body, and it looks so good. He's bulky, he's massive. And the most impressive thing for me is that they didn't just paint the shirt on like most comic figures they would do. They actually sculpted it so you can see, you know, the sleeve right there. It's sculpted. The collar, look at that. It's sculpted. Like, this is great, man. And you get a bunch of wrinkles and seams. The muscle definition is very defined. It looks great. It's not like the Netflix one, which I know they based this body off of Mike Coulter's physique, but this is what they were reusing for Sandman and Hydro Man. So you can see it's a lot. This one's a lot muscular for those comic characters. This just didn't work for Sandman and Hydro Man. Now, imagine a new Sandman or an updated Maury Bench Hydro Man from the animated series on this buck. Holy crap, that would be great. The Russian too. We might get the Russian. Oh no, this might be a little too small for the Russian. I think the Russian is a lot bigger. He's over 7 feet. You know, Luke Cage is 6'6". He might need all new sculpt, but definitely for me, the number one candidate is Doc Samson. That's the one I've been wanting an update on the most. And I cannot wait because look, these arms, new pinless muscular bare arms. I could definitely see this being reused for a new updated classic Thor. I just see so much coming out of this body. It's insane the potential this has for future candidates in Marvel Legends. So yeah, this is just awesome, you know, and the joints are matching the plastic. It's not mismatched, so I'm happy about that. But these muscles are serious, man. Like, he put time in the gym. Look at those veins, those forearms. It's all bulging out. It is nicely detailed. Some nice seam work. It's a very good buck. And look at these butterfly joints. Normally I don't go over stuff like this until articulation, but, you know, for a beefy guy, this is really good, you know? At least you get that far back, but not so much forward, but, you know, you don't want to take off from this chest. It looks good, honestly. Would I've loved to have seen, you know, more range in the front? Yeah, but I wouldn't want to sacrifice the sculpt there because it looks really, really good. Charlie Murphy, kiss the rings, bitch. Look at that. The brass knuckles saying Luke Cage. That is awesome. I love that. It's a great sculpt. Nicely detailed in metallic gold paint. Man, this figure is freaking dope. And again, look at this physique. He just looks great, man. Damn. Puts that 2013 Thunderbolts 1 to shame. You know, and I know they reused this later for the Defenders pack, but wow, just a big difference. And maybe for Doc Samson, they might reuse, or excuse me, sculpt all new legs. Oh no, well, the classic Luke Cage has that Doc Samson look for the legs. You know, the Buccaneer boots that are like thin and the tights. But I don't think, well, this has that ball joint mechanic, so I don't think they'll put this torso on this. If anything, they'll have to change this lower torso piece with the ball jointed waist, but still have the ab crunch and put it on top of this. But, you know, yeah, I'm just thinking out loud. Damn, I would have loved to have seen the Russian, but it would be too small, man. I'm dying for the Russian. I would have settled for a Kevin Nash movie one from the 2004 Punisher film. You know, that would have been dope. But anyway, going back to this figure. Look at the Luke Cage belt. I like that, nicely painted. I wish it was sculpted. I wish the letters were sculpted. Back pockets. No front pockets, though. That's weird. So, that's some... Oh, no. The front pockets are right here at the very top, sculpted on the crotch piece. Okay, I see. Normally, they would sculpt the pockets, like, on the legs, right? Or am I tripping? I could have sworn we've seen that before, but it looks good. It's got a slight wash to it, although I feel like the wash on the denim is more on the front, and then behind this seam on the back, not so much. So the wash isn't all around, but it's like, yeah, on the front all the way down. Not so much the back, but I mean, that's fine. I have a lot of pair of jeans that just have a wash on the front and not the back, so I'm cool with that. Everything else, like the sculpt, is great. Some beefy legs here. And you got his shoes. Wow. Yeah. And as you can see, bringing the Netflix Luke Cage one, it is not upscaled. It's all new sculpt from scratch. And it's pinless too. It's great. And the shoes are not the same. They're different. Damn it. This is... Oh, sweet Christmas. This is the Luke Cage I've always wanted. And sculpted some of the soles on the feet. Can't ask for much more. For accessories, he comes with a yelling alternate head, just like Iron Fist. They both look great. I like this one, and just like Iron Fist, this is my favorite head sculpt. So the yelling head sculpts are my favorite in this pack, and it just looks really good. But again, I'm missing a chunk of paint on the goatee, and what the hell, man? Like, I don't know if it's my copy now, but just be on the lookout for that, because that is annoying the hell out of me. No even hands for this guy, unfortunately, but he does have a right open action stylized hand and a left gripping hand, which he has nothing to hold. It would have been cool if he had like a pipe so he could bash someone up over the head with. I mean, you could do something like this. Give him She-Hulk's mangled rifle. Yeah, just wish they'd given him something extra. Not to cover articulation with Luke Cage, his head is on a ball joint, no disc hinge. And he looks about that far up. Oh, when you look at that, they did a proper ball joint. Unlike freaking Spider-Man that looks like he's getting decapitated. Yes, it is possible. And they didn't have to give him a stupid neck gap at the back to achieve that. See? Finally, man, they listen to me now. All they gotta do is just apply that on Spider-Man. But as you can see, yeah, look, he looks up a good amount. Like, this is great. Now, how far up can I go? About that. But then it gets gappy. But that was just me cheating a bit. But yeah, it's great, man. It is great. And it looks that far down. He looks left to right, and it does pivot nicely, and it rocks around. His arms move upward and outward about that far, so slightly higher than the T-pose. That's good. And down, I showed you the butterfly joints, so that's some pretty good range, man. And he looks so good when, you know, he's about to, if you're going to pose him, about to punch someone, and he's pulling that arm back. Oh, yeah, man. That looks so freaking good. Love it. And so his arms swing around. You got the bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows. He gets good range. I'm impressed, man. And these are some beefy arms. Wrist swivel, wrist hinge. And you got the ab crunch that moves about that far forward. So a really good crunch. I like that. And it moves that far back. Hardline waist swivel. They could have done the ball jointed waist on this guy and still keep the ab crunch. That's fine because, you know, he pivots, or excuse me, he crunches real good. But I feel like they could have gotten away with it. I mean, yeah, well, weird choice, but I think they should have went with a ball jointed waist. And then his legs, you gotta be kidding me, right? He has more freaking range than Iron Fist. For splits? Oh, hell no. Oh, man. Yeah, they need to work on the range for these hips. That's funny. You're not going to be posing splits with Luke Cage, but hey, if you want to, go right ahead, man. And you can get a full frontward split. What? Wow, man, he's really articulated. Kicks up real high, kicks that far back. You got the legs that rock around, and you got the thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and no heel to the butt, but the proportions are right. And then you have the ankles that move a little bit up. I would say a little bit better than Ghost Rider, right? they don't move down because the way the jeans here are hemmed, and he does have ankle swivel, and he pivots his feet really nicely. So alright, let me backtrack for a bit. It does move down, it just doesn't move that far down because the pants hinder that. But other than that, I give the articulation on this Luke Cage figure a thumbs up. Actually, 2 thumbs up. Now for some comparisons, here are the heroes for hire next to other Street City level heroes: Spider-Man, Punisher, Hellcat, Moon Knight, and Blade. Here they are next to some other heroes for hire, femme fatales, whatever you want to call them: Misty Knight, Elektra, and Black Cat. Need a Colleen Wing immediately. Lastly, here are all your defenders next to each other: Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Jewel. I think they'll update Jessica Jones next, whether in this costume or her street gear. I'm down for one of those comic versions. And now to wrap things up, my final rating, no separate ratings. I'm rating this as 1, as these two just go together. Is a 9.25 out of 10. I can't praise this set enough. Right now, this stands as my favorite versions of these characters in Legends form. I don't think I can ever get tired of any Iron Fist or Luke Cage figures. Give me all of them. This is packed so well with 12 accessories total. Yeah, Luke Cage got gypped off accessories a bit with Iron Fist having 9. Come on, they could have given Cage some more love, but that's really the only downside for me in this pack, minus the lack of goatee paint on Cage and the other being butterfly pegs poking through Iron Fist, but that's manageable whenever I take photos. Just gotta make sure I put him in a pose where that's not visible. Everything else is pretty much godly. Iron Fist is so damn posable. I love what they did with the applications on this brand new torso sculpt. The paint is solid. The head sculpts are stellar, and with the bandana tails being articulate, that increases the dynamic meter for your action poses. I just wish they gave him some new flame effects or a dragon effect. That would be saved more for a deluxe though. Now I'm dying for a Steel Serpent figure so bad. Luke Cage's new sculpt scales great with other heroes, and I see so much use that we can get out of this, as I already mentioned about 4 to 5 figures that can follow up with some of these parts. I think I would just settle for the Russian in this book. I just want a Punisher wave so bad. It's so satisfying posing the heroes for hire side by side. Right now, out of all the 85 years figures I have already, I think this may end up being my favorite one. It may be that for others too. Behold, greatness in plastic. I highly recommend you hire these heroes for your collection. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this Heroes for Hire 2-pack? Does this earn your cash, or do you think it's trash? Are there any Iron Fist or Luke Cage villains you'd like to see in Legends next? Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Thanks for watching another Marvel Legends review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xmanny87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.